Hello everyone and welcome to the video. This is the tutorial video for Info 4321 Creative Design Technique. And for this tutorial, we are going to be learning on how to design a logo using Adobe Illustrator. Okay, first order of business, please open up your Adobe Illustrator and open up the template file, the template.ai file that I have provided for you. Once opened, you should have an empty project file with only these 5 color palettes that I have provided. The first thing that you want to do is to go to Window and make sure Control is enabled. If it is disabled, make sure to go to Window and have Control checked or enabled, so you will have the control panel up on top here. The second thing that you want to do is to go to View and go all the way down until you find Snap to Point. Make sure you enable Snap to Point and disable every single option. Snap to Grid, Snap to Pixel, and Snap to Glyph has to be disabled for this to work. Make sure to only enable Snap to Point for the purpose of this tutorial. Once you have that, we are now ready to create our logo inside of Adobe Illustrator. The first thing that you want to do is let's now create a perfect circle. To create a circle, go to the rectangle tool on the side here and then right click on the rectangle tool and make sure to choose the ellipse tool, or the shortcut key for you is L. Using Shift on your keyboard, create a perfect circle. Now, what you want to do is to change the color and the opacity of the circle. All the way up on the control panel, change the color to black for the purpose of this tutorial, and then change the opacity from 100% to just 50%. Once you've done that, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to change the dimension of this circle. Also on top, on the control panel, on a bit to the right, you should see this dimensions tab over here. So I want you to change the dimensions of the circle to 300 pixels, both on the width and also on the height. Make sure the width and the height are same, which is 300 pixels, by enabling the constraint width and height proportions. You can change the value to 300 on the width and also on the height. We are now going to center this circle in the middle of the canvas or the artboard. To do so, go to the Align tab here. If you cannot find the Align tab on the right side here, go to Window and find Align. The shortcut key should be Shift F7. Once you have the Align tab open, make sure to have the circle selected. So select Horizontal Align Center and Vertical Align Center to center this circle in the middle of the canvas or the artboard. Once you have that, we are going to be creating another circle. To create another circle, simply just create another circle. Make sure it is a perfect circle. Do the same thing, make sure the color is black and the opacity is 50%. Once you have this, all the way up here on the dimension tab, make sure it is proportional and then change the dimension to 150 pixels. So 150 pixels width and height, make sure it's the same, make sure it is a perfect circle. Let's position or align this tiny circle in the middle. Go back to the Align tab over here and click on Horizontal Align Center and Vertical Align Center. That should center the circle in the middle of the artboard. Now, the next step is to duplicate this small circle. So to duplicate, you can just hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, or you can hold Alt on your keyboard, hold the alternate key on your keyboard, and then click and drag the circle. Again, align this third circle to the center by using the Align tab here, Horizontal Align Center, Vertical Align Center. Once you have this, select the middle circle here. And by the way, if you want to zoom in and out easily from your canvas or your project, you can hold Alternate or Alt on your keyboard and scroll on your mouse scroll wheel. That should zoom in the canvas easily for you. Make sure you are using the selection tool or press V on your keyboard. Select the middle circle over here. Click on the center, the top and the center anchor point, or this tiny small box over here. Let's resize this circle to the top make sure to press shift on your keyboard to proportionally resize the circle. Make sure this circle snaps to the big circle over on the top. Okay, make sure it directly snaps on the circle on top. Make sure it snaps and then let go of your mouse. What you want to have is to make sure there is no gap between these two. As you can see, there's no gap, there's just one line over here. So make sure that there is no gap when you are combining the edge of this circle to the edge of this big circle. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to create the tail end of the logo. Let's go to the rectangle tool. The shortcut key is M on your keyboard, or you can go to the shape tool or to the ellipse tool, right click and find the rectangle tool. Just create a rectangle that looks like this. A rectangle that resembles the tail end of the letter A in the logo. Again, make sure the color is black and make sure the opacity is set to 50%. Go to the dimension, make sure the width is 150 pixels. So 150 on the width. Go back to the selection tool or V on your keyboard. We're going to reposition this rectangle to this entire circle here. Click on the rectangle and make sure the edge of this rectangle here snaps to this circle in the middle here. So simply click on the rectangle and drag it until it snaps straight on the circle in the middle here. So you should have something that looks like this. Using the selection tool, click on the rectangle, find the bottom anchor point or this tiny box over here that is in the middle. Click on it and you can just resize it however you want. This shape has started to resemble the logo that we want to achieve. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to round off or create a rounded rectangle from this normal rectangle here. Click on the rectangle here. What you want to do is to click on the tiny circle here, either one of the tiny circle, and then move it inward until you hit the maximum point. So this is what we want to achieve. Make sure to deselect everything and then go and select the pen tool. So the pen tool should be the third tool in the toolbar, or the shortcut key should be P. Go on this rectangle here, on this rounded rectangle here, go to the top of the rectangle, the top part, and find the middle point. It should be over here, somewhere over there. Okay, find the anchor point which is in the middle and on top. Using the pen tool, single click on it. You should have this line over here, and then drag this line all the way to the bottom. You can use the shift key on your keyboard to make it go straight down, and then make sure to find the center point or the center anchor point for the bottom part of the rounded rectangle. You should find it over there. See that tiny box over there? So once you have that, click on it and then just create a shape. It doesn't matter how big or how small, just create an irregular shape that covers the entire second part or the outer part of the rectangle, like this. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, just create a shape that looks something like this. Make sure it covers the entire part of the rectangle that is on the outside. Alright, once you have that, go back to the selection tool, V on your keyboard to go to the selection tool. Once you have this, make sure to select this shape over here, the shape that you just created, and then shift and select the rounded rectangle over here. Let's now go to the Pathfinder tool. So this is the Pathfinder tool. If you cannot find the Pathfinder, again, go to Window and find Pathfinder over here. The shortcut key should be Shift Ctrl F9 for the Pathfinder tool. With these two shapes selected, click on this icon that says minus front. This is what we want to achieve for now. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to be using the shape builder tool. Highlight every single shape. You can shift select, okay, shift select everything, or you can just click and drag using the selection tool to select or highlight every single shape. Make sure every single shape on your canvas is selected. Now go to the toolbar and find the shape builder tool. Okay, it should be somewhere over here. The shortcut key for the shape builder tool is Shift M. Now is go to this tail end over here, okay, this part over here. hold alternate or alt key on your keyboard, and you will find that the icon for the cursor over here, the shape builder tool cursor, you should find that when you hold alt on your keyboard, the icon changes from plus to minus. Plus means you are trying to combine shapes together. Minus means you are trying to delete a part of the shape. Okay, so hold alt on your keyboard and just click on this part over here to remove it. So once you have that, the next thing we are going to do is to delete this center circle over here and make this shape hollow. So again, hold alt on your keyboard and then select on this circle to remove it. Okay, you should have something that looks like this now. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to combine shapes. To combine shapes, simply click and drag over the shapes that you want to combine together. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom over here. So click and hold, okay, and then drag your mouse. You will see some kind of a line. Okay, click and drag and just combine all the shapes on the top here. So this one. Don't forget the tiny shape that is over here, and then this one over here. And once you have combined everything, let go of your mouse and it should become one single shape. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to combine the shapes that is on the bottom part. So click and drag and make sure to combine this big shape over here with this little tiny guy that is on the corner here. Okay, so combine that. Once you have combined, let go of your mouse and you should have something that looks like this. If you use the selection tool, V on your keyboard, and you try to move these shapes, you should only be left with two shapes. Okay? With all the circles, all the rectangles that you have just now, at the end of the day, you should only have two shapes over here. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to be changing the color of the shape here. So simply click on this shape first. Okay, click on the top shape over here using the selection tool, and then let's go to the gradient tool on the side here. If you cannot find the gradient tool, go to window and select gradient. Shortcut key is Ctrl F9. With this shape selected, go to the type of the gradient and change the type to linear gradient. Now we are going to be changing the color of the gradient. As you can see, in the middle, in the project file, I have provided with a few colors for you to choose from. Simply select each or either one of these points on the gradient slider here. Okay, make sure it is highlighted in blue. So now click on the color picker and select whichever color that you want using the color picker tool. So I'm just going to select this one to replace the white color. You should see that your gradient changes over here. Okay, your gradient already changed over here. And then select the black color, this second point over here. Make sure it is highlighted using the color picker tool and select your second color. We are going to go back to the selection tool. Okay, V on your keyboard to go back to the selection tool. Select the second shape or the shape on the bottom here. Once you have that, again, go back to the gradient tool over here, to the gradient tab over here. Change the gradient to linear gradient. We want to flip this gradient or reverse this gradient to get the effect that I have provided in the sample picture. So with this bottom shape selected, in the gradient tab, find this icon that says reverse gradient. The icon should be over here. Click on reverse gradient and the gradient should already be reversed at this point. Select both of the shapes, go back to the control panel on the top and change the opacity from 50% back to 100%. And you should get the original color or the color that you have chosen in the color picker. So with that, I hope you understand a little bit about the concept and the tools that can be used to create a logo or to design a logo inside of Adobe Illustrator. If you have any problems or you don't understand anything, please do not hesitate to ask, and I guess I will see you in the next video and in the next class. Thank you.